Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to another ARKHAM Horror deck guide video. Today, we have a Marie Lambeau deck that Travis made up. It's a really fun deck. I'm really excited to get into it. We're going to follow the normal structure we do here. We'll talk about the deck. We'll talk about notable cards. The only difference is there's no level 0-1, but we're not even going to worry about that. So, I'll sum up a little summary here, and then when we get to the deck, I'm going to pass it to Travis. But Marie uses her hands to hold books, and then uses those books to solve problems, take advantage of skills, and draw cards. With a suite of spells and practice skills, this deck will have a hard time running out of gas. So it is no surprise. I think every video today we've talked about practice makes perfect. I absolutely love it. So for this one, these are all the expansions that are required. You can find the deck list down in the description for this deck, which you can then look at the cards individually while also putting this video on in the background as we go through it. So I have the deck list here. Travis, I'll throw this one to you. We're going to be talking about in detail about a good chunk of the cards. So what was your idea and reason for wanting to build this deck?
I wanted to build a deck that could abuse Astronomical Atlas that wasn't just Norman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was mostly the thought of it.
Sick. So yeah, with Marie Lambeau, when you have one or more Doom on cards you control, you may take an additional action during your turn, which can only be used to play spell cards or activate spell action abilities. This one, actually, while going through, there's really there's David, there's Blood Pact, and then there's the one of Abyssal Tome. Am I missing anything else for what can get Doom? So
I think that's it.
Yeah, so this one's less about focusing on the Doom side of Marie, which I think can be good, especially if you're intimidated by her. This is a great deck to get the Marie flavor without going all in on Doom. I think the deck is very solid, and when we start poking at the pieces, we're going to see a lot of cool synergies that come out of this deck. But even if you can just get a free action occasionally, that's still pretty nice for Marie. And her stats also work very well with what we're going to be talking about, especially when we get into the Astronomical Atlas. Her Mystifying Song is when the agenda would advance by reaching its Doom threshold. Until the end of the phase, the agenda cannot advance by reaching its Doom threshold, and then you remove it from the game. And then we got her weakness, Baron Samedi. He cannot leave play while he has less than 3 Doom on him. When any amount of damage is placed on an investigator in Baron Samedi's location, place 1 additional damage on that investigator. Exhaust Baron Samedi, place 1 Doom on him. If he has 3 or more Doom on him, you discard him. So he does feed her ability, which is kind of neat, but he is also very scary. But we have a charisma to make sure he doesn't, eat your ally when he appears. So yeah, let's start looking at individual cards here for this deck. First one here is Astronomical Atlas. So this card allows Marie to take advantage of the skills in her deck, potentially allowing for multiple plays of Deduction and Enraptured. Astronomical Atlas can also provide a roundabout card draw for non-skills, assuming you can pass the test you commit the card to, which we will be able to because we'll look at the skill icons of this card's decks in a few moments. So this was the card that Travis wanted to build around for this deck. It's a cool card, really nice with skills, but as stated, it also can give you some cards as well, and in the form of a reverse Crystallizer of Dreams. So with that one, with Crystallizer of Dreams, you play an event and it becomes a skill. With this one, you play a card as a skill, you commit it to a test, and then if you pass, it becomes a card in your hand. So yeah, this is kind of the core of the deck and the most important book and what you want to find with Research Librarian. Next up here, we got Practice Makes Perfect. So this is another incredible card in this deck that allows Marie to take advantage of the skills in her deck. So Astronomical Atlas can allow you to play your skills multiple times, and Practice Makes Perfect is another example of that. So the 4 skills in our deck are all practiced, meaning that Practice Makes Perfect will hit all of them. 3 of the 4 skills, they have a positive effect. So if you can play them multiple times, making them great hits on Practice Makes Perfect or Astronomical Atlas. So, for example, you get a deduction off the top of your library. You can then play it off your Astronomical Atlas. You turn that into 2 clues, you draw the card into your hand, you do it again. So you basically have like multiple ways of hitting these really good cards. Same with Enraptured. It places charge or secrets on things like some of the spells we're going to be casting with this deck, and that's a really nice thing there. Perception is another great card that you want to play multiple times if you can. And then Promise of Power, while it doesn't have a benefit to play it multiple times, it kind of does because it just means pass the test. It's just like, hey, did you want to pass this test? Okay, sure, I'll play this Promise of Power, and then it happens. I was gonna ask Travis if there was any additional thoughts here, but these are just like 4 good practice skills, and I'm pretty sure that was the thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, they're all relevant. The Raptured especially is nice when you get to play it.
Yeah. All right. Then we got Abyssal Tome. So Abyssal Tome is the other tome that Research Librarian can grab if needed. Abyssal Tome can act as a consistent small enemy killer when you need it, and if there's no Doom on the card, the fight still deals 1 damage, allowing Marie to defeat smaller enemies. So, while yes, you can look at Abyssal Tome as, hey, I'm going to use this to kill a boss. You could do that. Like, over time, it's definitely possible. However, it's also just really good to, like, kill a cultist or kill a rat that you might get. You get 1 attack with it, so it's, like, not great. But then, when you need to, you can shift to building it to deal more damage. But even assisting with +1 damage at the right time makes this a good offhand tome for this deck. So obviously this card is here as the offhand. It's not like the main function of the deck. It's just another way to take advantage of Marie's Doom ability while also killing enemies. Is there anything else like that you think this can add to the deck, Travis, that you think I might be missing?
No, this was just kind of like a flexible option for her that you could put Doom on.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really all it was there for.
The clue-getting spell package in this deck is relatively simple. Luckily, with Sacrifice and Protecting the Nirnik, the downside of Divination is easy to make up for if you do end up hitting it. So is this like you choose to discard 2 cards from your hand? It can happen, and it might happen, but it's pretty... The card draw economy in this deck is actually kind of wild, as we're going to be getting to. Rite of Seeking is already great, but adding Twyla Catherine Price makes it even sweeter. And of course, you can use Twyla on your divination as well, even though it's less like bombastic as Rite of Seeking. It still makes it so you have like, it's basically just an endless +2 on an investigate test, assuming that Twyla is using it on this and Rite of Seeking is not in play, because Rite of Seeking is like the really juicy bit for Twyla. However, this is where Travis was also saying where like the Enraptured comes in really nice. Because if you can hit 2 Enraptureds and even just get 2 on your divination, that's a deduction right there, baby. Like, that's great. It is basically like a delayed deduction in a way.
Yep.
All right. Now we're on to our ally.
Spells.
Oh, sorry?
Or good. So they're just good clue getting spells.
Hell yeah. Onto our ally package, we have David. He provides a great role player in this deck as a resource generation, brain boost, and Doom for Marie's ability. He literally does it all. Like, he gets you more brain, he gives you resources, and then he's also Doom for Marie. Very nice here. And then when David's time is done, he can become the victim of a sacrifice, or as damage and horror soak. And Twyla is a strong effect that works wonders with Rite of Seeking, but can also do some cute things, as I said, with the divination if you haven't found your Rite of Seeking yet. And because you have a charisma, you can run them both. And then when Baron shows up, you can just send David to the Shadow Realm. The true dream, though, in this deck, Travis, is getting Baron off Astronomical Atlas, right?
Yeah, that'd be pretty... Can you do that?
Let's go back. Let's look at it.
No, if it's not a weak... It can't attach if it's a weakness.
Oh, if it's not a weakness. Okay, my mistake. So you just look at it. You know Baron's coming, so you can find another way to... Dang, man, that would have been sick, though. My mistake. The dream is dead.
That's what the charisma is there for.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Renfield is here to die.
Yeah, he's just here to do his point, give you some resources, and then he gets sent... He gets sent packing. And here is some of the really good economy for the deck. So Sacrifice provides great economy, turning David Renfield, or an Empty Divination, or an Abyssal Tome with a ton of Doom on it into cards or resources. So like Sacrifice is really nice in a Marie deck, but it's also really nice here because you have 3 great hits with it. And then we have Protected the Anurnic as another powerful card that allows you to turn David Renfield into cards when he's eventually defeated. It can also provide some protection for Twyla if she would ever be discarded by a card effect. It's also really good if you have... I actually don't know if this works, like if Baron is a card effect. It probably doesn't work when Baron gets rid of them, right? Probably not, because then they just look at slots and you get rid of it. So it probably doesn't work there.
This is true.
Yeah.
It is really nice with the Sacrifice, though.
It is very nice with the Sacrifice. You say you stab David in the chest, you take his life essence, and then you say, just kidding, David, get back out here, I'm going to do it again. That is nice, though, because like then you get to reset David, and you can just like go for it again.
Yeah, or you can just draw like 6 cards.
Yep. So sick. Yeah. Or even like that option, just draw 3, gain 3. That is also... Draw 5, gain... Man, that is very... There's a lot there. That's kind of spicy.
It's a lot going on, yeah.
All right. So, this is something that when we released our... Bryn and I's reviews of the Edge of the Earth Mystic cards, there was a lot of talk about how Astronomical Atlas can work as good card draw. I personally still am yet to be convinced, but I can see the idea behind it. So that's why when I was looking at this, I'm thinking if you are going to put Astronomical Atlas in your deck and you're going to look at it as potential card draw, you want to look at the symbols on your cards. So with this deck, every card in the deck has a brain, book, or wild icons except for Research Librarian and Baron Samedi. So Baron Samedi, obviously, as I just learned right now because I did not RTFC, cannot go on the Astronomical Atlas. But Research Librarian is like the only hit that's like not good. Marie still has 3 foot, so like she can still actually like pass an evade test, right? Or like any sort of foot test. But the fact that 28 cards in your deck, 29 with Mystifying Song, are skills that you're going to be using every turn means that this can be pretty consistent, reliable card draw in this deck, which is really nice because that does make it a lot more... Like, if you had, like, it was all over the place for your skill icons, a little bit harder of a sell. But I think this one actually can be pretty consistent over here as well. So, yeah, that's the deck. Astronomical Atlas, Marie Lambeau. There's a few other cards that we did not talk about here that are kind of just, like, good. St. Hubert's Key. That card's just good. Turns her into a 5/5 for her 2 stats she's going to be using to draw cards off her Astronomical Atlas. It also means that you can just, like, investigate. And, like, that's the nice thing about Divination, too, going back to Astronomical Atlas, because, as you see here, we have 25 book symbols. You can use, unless I'm just, like, having some sort of horrible brain fart, you can use your book for Divination, which means that now all those skill cards on your Astronomical Atlas can turn into just as strong as if you were using your brain, which is really nice. The Blood Pact, also another great card for Marie, and also just like nice and strong. And then Uncage the Soul, that's economy, baby. Like, there's not much more to that. That's just some juicy economy. And then the one of Research Librarian that Travis brought up earlier to help find the tome and the atlas. Anything else you want to add, Travis?
No, there's not too much else going on here. It's just it's a pretty straightforward, very value-oriented deck.
Hell yeah. Anything you want to add, Bryn? Bryn's here too, by the way.
I've been here the whole time. No, I think it just seems like a solid file.
Yeah.
Some neat synergies.
Hell yeah. So sick. All right. Well, that is another deck guide video for the month. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this kind of content, consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel. If you have not already subscribed, leave a comment about what you think of the deck and anything you might add if you were playing it, or anything you change around. Or just, you know what? Tell me how your day was doing. What did you have for breakfast today? I would love to know. Thank you so much. Have a good one. And as always, GG's.